Hello and welcome to the Pallot Steam and General Museum here in Trinity on Jersey. Today what we're going to be doing is just having a quick walk around. I say quick, it'll probably end up being ages because it is quite a large place. But we are going to have a look around of the museum and see what exhibits it has to offer. Come on, let's go inside. We're inside the museum. So they've got a Morris commercial lorry for towing. Little steam traction engine. Quite a few trains because of course this is based in an old engine shed. Fordson Tractor just here, the Jersey Electrical Company, electricity company even. It's quite a large building actually. I've been here once before I started doing YouTube videos and it's a lot bigger than I remember it being. Maybe they've spaced things out a bit more or they've actually extended the building, I'm not quite sure, but either way. This is a lovely looking little vehicle. Merlin portable threshing machine engine. Bought from a vintage car dealer near Le Mans. Came here for restoration in 1984. Oh, so it has to be moved by somebody rather than it being able to move under its own steam. Alongside the Ford and Morris truck, we have a Morgan. And notice how with these, obviously we're in Jersey, so they've got little Jersey plates. Usually a Jersey plate goes J and then a sequence of numbers. So this one's J4628, this Van den Pla Princess 1300, J6172. So it's quite a different system to the one we got on mainland England. With a big locomotive at the back. This channel isn't turning into Laurie's Mechanical Marvels, don't worry. Austin A30, 850cc. Probably the same engine that I got in the Mini, only a smaller spec. Oh, look at Renault Dauphine. This car was bought on the island brand new. Only covered approximately 27,000 miles. Wow. And just here, a Renault 4CV. I don't think from the side profile actually, if we bring the camera down a little bit, it looks a little bit like a Beetle. No, just me seeing it? Okay. But these are rather sweet. This was also bought brand new on the island. Next to it, Citroen 2CV from 1979. Standard 10. Drive GT6 Mark III. This one is a Sunbeam. A Sunbeam Talbot. Not a little sporty hatchback from the 80s version, but old-fashioned thing from 1954. Next to the Sunbeam, we have this Ford Thames, of course the precursor to the Ford Transit. Supposedly these were not good enough, so the Transit was designed and became one of the best-selling vans, if not the best-selling van of all time. This isn't a Lotus Cortina, this is a Ford Cortina 1500 GT. Brand new, 1965 this one. Oh, sweet little Ford Anglia. This one, of course, being very similar to the one that the Weasleys owned in the Harry Potter film franchise. Of course, theirs was a slightly different colour. This car has been on the island since new and has only had one previous owner, Ford Escort Mexico. A rather fine collection of cars here, has to be said. Just down here, Morris Minor 1000 Traveller. This is one of the last of the model type of Minor produce. Crikey. The old Cadillac. It is absolutely massive compared to the rest of these little cars. Of course, these all being European, this being American, it does look rather large and I'm not sure it would fit down some of the roads down here. Fleetwood Brougham. Loving the vinyl sort of roof style though. Of course, left-hand drive. What makes this line of cars interesting is they're all owned by the same family. I think only one car in this entire row is not owned by the same person. Every other car is owned by Sam Pallot, who I believe is either the original person who opened this museum or the son of the guy that opened this museum all those years ago. Either way, Sam, you have one hell of a collection. Over in this corner we have a very nice looking 1947 Ferguson TE20 Continental. This tractor's been on the island since new, working for the farming community. Nice looking little van at the back, not quite sure what it is. I think it's possibly a Morris. I'm sure somebody will let me know in the comments. Got a little Case IH sign on it at least. A McCormick International. Notice the IH branding on the front. A little farmer sat on it. International B275 diesel. And just down here, sweet little Mini Mark 1. This one being the Morris version of it. This one is also owned by Sam Pallot, which immediately makes him very cool in my mind, of course, owning a Mini. Morris J4 pickup next to it from 1967. Before we can move too much further, this Mini is 1960, so a fairly early one actually. Of course, Mini being produced in 1959, so only a year after the Minis were first built. It's been on the island since new. It's been here a long time. It's not just cars they got here. They have this rather large fire engine, an Albion Merryweather. St Helier Fire Brigade on it. You can see all the workings of it there. Obviously decorated in flags. Huge wheel at the back. This, I would imagine, is just so you can transport the ladder around easily by hand when you need to get it off the back of the lorry. Of course, a little tender. That'll be your water pump, I would imagine. Trailer pump, there we go. Says it right there. Dennis Major trailer pump. Ooh, a sweet little Mini Moke in yellow. Have a good look around the Moke. This one's 850cc. Last time it was insured was 2007, so again, been sat for a little while. Large old Morris Oxford ambulance, 1969. A Morris Z van. Owned and restored by Sam Pallot. I'll explain the Steam Motor and General Museum, Trinity, Jersey, advertising on the side. Of course, that is the full name of this museum, Steam Motor and General Museum, and that's where it's located. So if you want to come down and have a look at these vehicles for yourself, if you're ever in Jersey, this is the place. Come down and have a look. Morris van and a Scamel. These were very interesting because you have a look, they have only got a single front wheel, which meant essentially they could turn 180 degrees on its own sort of axis. It didn't need to do 3-point turns or whatever. You just turn around. It was very good. It was a very clever design. It's really good for going into very tight car parks, of course. This one looks like it's part of a brewery with that rather large trailer on the back. I love that combo actually, it looks really cool. Of course you have a collection of steam engines just located down here, as well as a couple of petrol engines. Two-stroke diesel, this one. French-made engine. Lister diesel from 1934. That's the sort of engine they would have probably used on canal boats, I would imagine. Maybe not in this exact configuration, but same sort of thing. Loads of models up here. Traction engine, little engines. Yeah, these are really cool. If you have a look outside, you can see a small stretch of track as well. And even, just in the distance, if I zoom in and focus the camera, a railway locomotive. Load of little engines down here. Ruston Hornsby not the manufacturer of the little model trains. That's Hornby, not Hornsby. And of course, a load more tractors over here. Case diesel. Imported from the USA. Lyndon Pallot owns these two at least. They also own the Citroen 2CV just over there. I do love this little mini moke. We'll have a look at the large military vehicles in a moment. A Fordson Tractor. Now I heard something interesting about Fordson. So supposedly there was already a Ford tractor manufacturer in the UK, and when the Ford Motor Company, as in the car Ford company, came to the United Kingdom, they tried to trademark the Ford name, and it did not go down too well because of course there was already a Ford Tractors company. Long story short, Ford Cars took current Ford Tractors to court, Ford Tractors ended up winning, and Ford Cars had to name their tractor brand in the UK Fordson. This one's quite interesting. Have a look. Lovely sort of steel rim, I would say, on it, with little tracks. Obviously great for working in the dirt, because of course that one, or sorry, those ones, those will dig into the dirt, and that would be for road use. That way then, it stops those from digging up the road. Obviously the precursor to having rubber tyres, which of course included both, so these are impressive machines, it has to be said. I love the little box on the side of this one. Original Fordson pressing in the top as well. Here's some very early machinery, 1938. Oil bath type of air cleaner, this one. 23, this one. Trembler coils is the spark ignition on this. Another McCormick International. Some of these tractors look immaculate, it has to be said. I do like this one actually, just because it's massively different. It's kind of like a bit of a hybrid between the traction engine and just what we recognise today as being a tractor of this era, because if you have a look, you've got all the steering column just here, exposed and open. Usually the radiator, as with that one, is on the front, but it's behind. Something different. And there's the fuel tank. Over on this side, Ferguson brown, although it looks very silver to me. Made in Huddersfield, supplied new through Jersey agents and Hellier Garages, Bath Street. Ford Ferguson. Ferguson P3. This is quite cool, little Ransom's Caterpillar tracked cultivator from 1948. It's very simple, but I'd imagine it packs a bit of a punch. Alice Chalmers. This is from 1955. I like the little lights just stuck on the side. Here's another one, 1938, without the lights on the side, and a bit earlier. But look how far back the seating position is from the rest of the tractor. Just over here we got quite a lot of machinery, farming mainly. Ah, there we go. There's the answer to a question earlier. So Don Pallot was the founder of this museum. So Sam must be his son. At least that's what I've heard. The old motorcycle at the back. Can't see any information about it, but let's have a look. Villiers, made in England. Okay. Just read the signs down here. It's called Unnamed Motorbike Type Machine, late 1940s, so there we go. I'm not the only one who doesn't know about this machine. Ploughs, a little winch. Yeah, this place got a great selection of things on it. Rather large organ, cinema organ just down here. So obviously cinemas before the days of talking pictures. They'd have had music to accompany silent movies, and this is what would have helped accompany that. A load of machinery, original Heidelberg. It's a very German sounding name. Linotype. Over on this side we've got a load of interesting paraphernalia. We have got a Shell fuel pump and a load of Castrol bits. Massive amount of fuel cans, as you can see. If you have a look just here though, this is very interesting to me of course, because it is an A series and it's all been opened up for you and I so we can see it. This is of course the rocker cover and everything that hides beneath, spark plugs. Ooh. There's your little fan, your thermostat and thermostat housing, of course the carburettor. Yeah, it's all opened up, nice to see, pistons, everything's here on that. A matchless G3 LS motorcycle, 350cc, and this is a Velocette motorcycle. Loving the helmet on that, very period. Austin, I can only assume to be, without looking at the sign, a taxi. Yes it is. Little Morris 8, a diesel roller, Sark Roads. So Sark is an island just off of Guernsey, which is not too far away from here, it's about an hour by boat. Sark doesn't actually have many motor vehicles, as it were. It's mainly got sort of quite a old-fashioned way of life. Not that it's a bad thing. Of course it is for you and me, because this channel is based around cars, so if I lived on Sark we wouldn't have much of it, but I think cars are owned by the minority in Sark. Another roller. This is a steam roller. Marshall compound 12-ton roller. There's a farmer with his dogs. Marshall compound 8-ton roller. Looks like playing Farming Simulator. You've got so much choice. Aveling and Porter steamroller. First new diesel alternator set. Harland and Wolff. Of course the company that built the Titanic and its sister ships Britannic and the Olympic respectively, and many others. An old motorcycle at the back. A large US Army branded truck, USA. This is a Mack truck, part of the British Forces Liberation of Jersey. This vehicle was on active service with the Allied Armies June 6th, 1944. That, of course, D-Day, the invasion of Normandy. This was a prime mover, so this would have towed heavy machinery such as guns and trailers full of supplies, or in this case, it would have lugged along boxes full of dogs. Central Motorworks Trinity, an international truck. Model SR lorry, this one, 1929. Love the colour on it. This has been restored over several years by its present owner, Mr. Sam Pallot. Completed 1999, so the year my Renault was built. This here's a Dodge. Don't know much about it. Very yellow wheels. Love the colour scheme on it. It's very nice. Chevrolet truck. 1931, this Chevrolet truck. This was owned previously by a friend of the museum who sadly passed away in 2010. So this little truck was donated to the museum in his memory, which is very sweet. Another little winch, or crane in this case. See a little end on it. Ooh, 6 wheels. Obviously plenty of traction. That one looks a little bit worn though, it has to be said. 1942, Ward La France. Heavy recovery vehicle purchased from the state of Jersey. So this would have been in active service on the island for quite some time. Oh, the Rolls-Royce Meteor engine. This would have been in several British tanks. The Comet and the Cromwell, if I remember rightly. Have a look down at the sign. Yes, there we go. Got it right. Basically, just from memory, I know we've just looked down at the sign, but from memory, this is basically the Rolls-Royce Merlin engine, but without a supercharger, so it didn't go into a plane. It was used in the tanks. Right, let's head on upstairs. Just before we head upstairs, cross-tube boiler from 1930 by Walter Coltman from Loughborough. Another little, what is this, boiler? Looks like a boiler, but it's from Glasgow, either way. Engine from a 2CV6, 602cc. Removed from a two-tone grey Citroën Charleston, which had serious rust problems. 1986, that engine. Rolls-Royce Derwent engine. A jet engine, nonetheless. Impressive bit of kit, isn't it? Especially when it's all opened up like this for you and me to see. Not something we'd usually see. Little children's fairground rides. Zebras. Another one, horse. And a bicycle. BA. Little car you could usually sit in. Of course, due to current restrictions, you cannot, sadly, but there we go. Sign of the times. Either way, genuine sort of car interior. But the body on this made out of wood. Moving across, some rally chopper bikes. Loving the gear stick on these two. Wish I had that on my bicycle. Loads of machinery. It's going to take too long to go through all of it. Little pedal cars. Austin J40 Charles pedal car, £30 this would have been brand new. This would have been a lot in 1952. That little tractor's got a crane on the front as well. And that one, it's got a little bucket scoop. Supposed to be like a little military one. Triang tractor, of course Triang also made model railway locomotives and carriages and things. This is a ride-on tractor. Pedal powered as well. But notice how it doesn't use a chain. It's got two sort of physical bits of metal that just attach from the pedals to the little crank at the back. And that's what you use to propel it. Rocking horses. This looks very similar to the type of horse they used in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Old bicycle. Does look kind of similar to the Benz Patent Motorwagen, that one, and right at the back. 1985 Sinclair C5. We've seen a few of these on the channel already through museums and things. How can you ignore them? They're bits of history now. Those quite cool though. Got some models just here. 1 2 1/4 scale engine, plus a load of models in here of cars gone by. Some more down there. I see a Mercedes Gullwing, Beetle, MGB GT, E-types, Minis, got a lot. Police box, of course, not necessarily the TARDIS, because of course the police used them to lock crims up in until police cars arrived. And they're also used as phone boxes, hence police public phone box or call box, whatever it was. Cranes, load of fire-based vehicles. Pretty sure I got that little vehicle there just underneath the crane right at the back. Have a model of the Jersey power station in St Helier. Usually wouldn't get to see the inside of this, but here with a model, you can. A load of agricultural things, trailers, horse-drawn of course. This would have been used possibly for the production of potatoes, because of course Jersey, well known for their potatoes, Jersey Royals. Horse-drawn mower, this one. So you could add 2 people sat on it, you probably would have needed 2. One there, one down there. pull the lever, away you go. Potato digger. This would be one in a competition apparently. Hay rakes at the back. Wow, a load of old tech in terms of radios. More organs and pianos, mainly pianos. I have to say I don't know much about them, but very nice. Just spotted this out back. Yes, that is a Renault 5. No, it is not on Jersey registration. So that'll be 1987, 88 roughly. Cool little car. Do like the 5. Very interesting collection of oil lamps over here. Well, the dog's even oil lamps. I'd assume so. Unusual shape. A telex machine and a load of mowers. Push along mainly, a couple of them petrol powered. There is so much stuff here. Oops, some ploughs, or cultivators even. A little tractor of sorts. Another one. Ploughmats, not ploughmans, as in the sandwich. Ploughmats. British Anzani. Manual ones, horse-drawn even. A seed drill, so that would have been used for planting the seeds in the ground. Ancient agriculture when you think of it that way. Of course here, essentially an old-fashioned tumble dryer except without the tumbling. He said you squeezed all the water out of your clothing which had just been washed. This here is closer to a tumble dryer than that, but either way. It's all machinery. Old-fashioned vacuum. Make sure I don't say Hoover, because Hoover is a brand. This one's a Kirby heritage type. This is kind of what an old-timey kitchen would have looked like on Jersey. Just, I'm not sure they'd have had clogs though somehow, but either way, neat addition. This down here is a butter churner, but over here where I currently can't access because tied off, you have a little model railway, a little ride-in Formula 1 type car, a little locomotive and a fire engine. This I can only assume would be used for some sort of parties or conferences or something like that. Either way, not allowed in there, probably down to certain restrictions in place. Just outside the shed we find an old steam locomotive. This one appears to have come from Bristol in 1952. See how it works in there, can't you, with all the coal on the floor? Very old-fashioned carriages. Notice none of the modern luxuries we have, such as toilets. And very upright seating, which is sure to give you backache, I'm quite sure. Just down here, little cafe at the end of it, however closed due to restrictions. That's a shame. Over there though, just caught my eye. Nissan GTR Skyline. Just been reading an interesting little story on these coaches. These were originally, both of these, were people's homes before coming to the museum here to be restored. A lot of the underpinnings on these actually came from Barrier Island, South Wales, where many locomotives and carriages met their doom. And that's how these were restored, using bits of carriages that were going to be broken up and scrapped. But don't they look in great condition? And of course you have a look at the museum itself on the platform. Classical railway architecture, of course. railway companies competing to get you to come to their railways. They made them look as nice as they possibly could. That's certainly one way of doing it. And of course, for anyone wondering, toilets. It's always useful to know where the toilets are at places like these. Located just outside the museum building, we've got this little locomotive which you can actually ride. Usually this runs on Thursdays, it says, mainly during the holidays. This, of course, a brake van of sorts, obviously not really van, but braked carriage. That's quite cool. Obviously can't ride today. Today is not a Thursday, it's a Friday. But I think that's a very neat little addition to the museum. And of course, just over there, a large locomotive we saw from inside the building looking out the window. It's a neat little place, I really like it here. Of course, it's quite quiet as well. And just outside the museum, as well as the little train track over there, the inner oval, we got this classic steam traction engine of sorts. Look at the wheels, they are absolutely massive. And a bob, apparently. People have obviously been writing in the algae that's forming on it. This is a really cool and interesting place. Just down there. This is the original track from the 1930s, before it was all ripped up just before the Nazis arrived. So this is really the only original bit of track, I believe, on the island. I could be wrong with that, there could be somewhere else on the island where track exists. But I think this is at least where the majority of the remaining track is. And there are Chrysler PT Cruisers down there, but obviously not allowed, there's a gate. Could be a train coming or something. Right, anyway, I think that wraps up our little walk around of the Pallot Steam and General Museum here in Trinity on Jersey. So thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed watching this video, please consider leaving a like, comment down below, let me know what was your favourite exhibit here. And of course, don't forget to subscribe, because there's going to be plenty more videos on this sort of thing to come. Also, don't forget to check out the website on the museum itself. You can find out lots more information down below in the description on it. Anyway, that's all from me for now. So again, thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you in the next video. Until then, farewell.